So tonight, there are going to be at least 800 million people going to bed hungry. Not because they want to, but because they haven't got the money to buy the food. Food's available, they haven't got the money. 2 billion people will be going to bed tonight without enough nutrients to build a healthy body, while another 1.9 billion people, probably also nutrient deficient, will be going to bed tonight as overweight or obese people. There are 100 million at least under 5-year-olds right now who have stunted development, stunted growth because of the nutrient deficiencies and starvation that they've been facing. Now, these problems are not as a result of the COVID crisis. This is the situation that existed before COVID. Now, the money that's been spent globally to tackle COVID would have more than eradicated poverty and hunger globally. Now, I believe that if we had spent the money wisely on eradicating poverty, that the overall death rate would be much, much lower than it is annually every year. How many people die of starvation? How many people die or suffer or cause society in general huge cost because of the medical bills that they incur, because of the nutrient deficiencies causing them illness, stopping them from self-repairing? It's huge. Now, let's say that on top of reversing poverty, that the governments of the world had handed out nutrition to everybody, including the healthy people, to make absolutely sure that while people's food is not up to the quality that it used to be, that at least they can supplement with inexpensive nutrient supplements. There still would have been change left over after making these drastic improvements to the world. And I could go on. The point is that everybody's been stuck in fear. Everybody's been swallowing the party line. This is what we've got to do. This is what's going to happen next. And it's going to go on forever. And there's going to be another one after that and another one after that. And we're all going to be vaccinated. This is the party line as I hear it. So what I suggest is that we, all of us, immediately start envisaging what we actually want. You know, if you're in a village or in a town or in an area or in a street or wherever you are, what do you and your neighbours actually want? Do you want armed police on the streets or not? Do you want to keep your own money? I certainly do. I don't want my money spending on wars. You know, I really don't. I believe that we're all sovereign beings and entitled to make our own intelligent decisions about our own lives. And I believe that most of us are inherently good people. There are an awful lot of thieves out there. The reason they steal is they can't see another way to feed their children, perhaps. What if there was the end of taxation? What if there was the end of wars? What if there was the end of interest rates from banks and all the unfairness and stupidity that's going on right now? What if the world became a better place? Is this possible? Yes, it is. Of course it is, because we, the people, decide what we collectively want. And I suggest that all of us start thinking right now, let's write a list. What do I want? Do I want to feel safe in my neighborhood? Do I want to contribute taxes to imprisoning lots of people for offenses that never had a victim? You know, people are going to prison and there was no victim involved. They broke a rule, some rule about a plant or whatever it might be. Do I want that type of society, or would I prefer a society that is caring and loving, run by people who are kind and want the best for everybody? Whereas right now, you might think that the people running the show do not have our best interests or our interests at heart at all. So this is such a simple idea. All of us start writing down what we want. How do we want the new world to be? Because the world's never going to go back to the way it was, clearly. I mean, businesses have been destroyed, so many of them, and the corporations have grown. You know, people like Bill Gates are now twice as rich as they were last Tuesday or something like that. You know, the billionaires are doing better and all the rest of us are suffering, and it's a disaster. But if we did make some drastic changes, let's say, for example, we decided that Google which is a fabulous resource, right? Which used to have real information not censored. Let's say it went back to being not censored anymore. Instead of Google making massive profits for a few billionaires, what if we say enough is enough? This is the most fabulous public resource, like water. It should be being provided without profit. It should be running itself brilliantly as a successful, wonderful enterprise, but not for profit, not to exploit people, not to lie, not to cheat people out of honest information. Similarly, Amazon, fabulous organization, super useful. That needs to be run for the benefit of the people, not for the benefit of a few billionaires. eBay, YouTube, Twitter, all these huge corporate media enterprises, all the wonderful tools that are available to us that we love. We like using these apps and tools. They shouldn't be controlling our lives, because my videos are getting censored all the time. Information is hard to find now, and we need to stop that. We need to roll back to where we're free people again, not told what to do by public servants. You know, my definition of a servant is somebody who willingly helps you, and you pay them, you help them, and they help you, but their primary job is they're a servant, they're to help you. You know, make your life easier and better. But public servants, when you think of governments, they seem to be there to punish you, to give you fines for doing something wrong all the time. Fine you, tax you, take your money away for any reason they can think of, and intimidate you with violence very often if you don't comply, or incarceration. I don't want a world like that. I really don't. So let's decide what we do want. I think it's fairly easy. What if, let's say, in America, there was the TV equivalent of America's Got Talent, and the idea was to look for the sweetest, kindest people in the land. You know, the sort of person who children just fall in love with because of their incredible, warm personality, and they're just lovely in every way. They're kind and generous, and you don't want to have them as your grandfather or grandmother. You know, they're just, you vote them in because everybody who knows them, has ever met them ever, says, this is, you know, these people are lovely. And you perhaps suggest to them that maybe they could take a role taking part in, you know, a local congress where, you know, 300 people, say it's a traditional number perhaps, really intelligent, loving, informed people get together to make informed decisions which are then put to the people, perhaps, you know, fairly regularly. You know, what do you think of this lovely idea? We reckon this is going to make our lives better because you're going to be happier, you're going to be more content, you're going to have more things that you need, you know, that kind of thing. Whatever it is that your local society decide they want. So we can choose these things, and we have a window of opportunity now where the world is changing, and changing very rapidly. And unless we make the decisions, those decisions are going to be taken for us, and we may lose the opportunity to move forward and take those decisions ever again, actually. It's all, you know, a bit of a race, I think. I think the reason that things are happening so fast in the world is that the people who are currently in charge, you know, which I would describe as psychopathic rulers who have stolen our freedoms, I think these people realize that the gig's up. They realize that there's very little time left for them to get away with what they're trying to do, which, let's face it, is total enslavement of all humanity, where you're watched at every moment, listened to at every moment, taxed at every opportunity, and unless you obey every ridiculous rule that they might make up out of thin air, you'll be punished, not able to travel, not able to eat, who knows. But all you've got to do is look at the Chinese model and think, I don't want to be in that society where if you look up the wrong website, well, that may mean you can't leave the country anymore, or you can't do this, that, and the other. Social credit scheme in China, coming to a country near you if you let them. We need to take back our power, right? Nobody needs to die, nobody needs to suffer, but we, the people, need to decide to invent the world we actually want. And we need to do it today. You know, when you finish watching this video, please start writing down every idea you want. What do you want from society? Talk to the family, talk to your neighbours, talk to everybody. Let's design a better world, and if we can come to some consensus about what we want, let's say most people, 80% or something like that, decided, yes, let's end war. We can do it by talking it through. some people might say, well, a way to achieve this would be to say to the government, we're not paying taxes anymore until you start doing what we want. But people would say, well, how would we fix the roads? Well, same way people fix them now. We could, if the roads need mending near you, the community, your guys, somebody who can use the internet, types in road repair. And there are lots of companies, that's what your local council are going to do. They're going to ring up with the local road repair people, get some competitive quotes and go for whichever deal sounds the best. But if the local community can do it without corruption being involved, which of course, as you know, is a huge problem on big organized political government, I reckon that you and your friends and your community, with love in their hearts, can do it properly. Not for extortionate profits or corruption, but because it's going to be done really well, really fast, by probably, hopefully, local people, with decisions being taken locally by you guys. So let's get out there, let's create a better world, and let's do it right now.